This is the most secure prison in the world, where some extraordinary serious criminals are imprisoned. Although there are no walls here, no one has ever successfully escaped. Today, a convict who even the guards dare not easily provoke arrives, the gladiator champion, a half-orc. In order to transfer him to the cell smoothly, they built a chain track specifically for him. The half-orc was placed in the cell of the protagonist of the film, Ejin. Despite Ejin warmly greeting the half-orc, the latter paid him no mind, instead showing interest in an inmate named Holga seated nearby.
I've been in low cells. Never shared one with a female. Think I'm gonna like it.
Unexpectedly, Holga swiftly brought him to the ground. After all, those detained in this prison are no ordinary individuals. Today is pardon day, and Speaker Anderton will give prisoners a chance to reform before deciding whether they are eligible for pardon. Ejin seized the opportunity and told him his story. Many years ago, he joined an organization called the Harpist League, essentially a group of spies. At that time, an evil ancient race emerged within the palace. To expand their power, they would gather all residents for a sacrificial ritual on the eve of every winter. As the high priest continued chanting, the people below suddenly witnessed an ominous vision in the sky. The onlookers were unaware of the conspiracy unfolding. Alongside the priest levitating, countless blood-like threads in the air continuously converged towards a horn. Then a mist of blood gushed out towards the crowd. Once inhaled, this mist would devour the human soul. Those nearby soon realized the danger, but it was already too late. Their true intention was to enslave humanity, creating an undead army to conquer the entire country and achieve racial supremacy. Ejin was sent into the commoners to help the royal family gather intelligence. After years of covert efforts by the Harpist League, they finally succeeded in capturing the Red Robe Wizard and putting him on trial. However, he soon fell victim to the revenge of the Red Robe Wizard. Upon returning home, he found his wife murdered by the wizard. Fortunately, his daughter was hidden by his wife in a cupboard and thus escaped unharmed. Grieving over his wife's death, Ejin fell into self-blame and decided to withdraw from the Harpist League, determined to raise the child on his own. With no job, Ejin found himself lost. In his darkest hour, he encountered Holga. Many years ago, she was expelled from the tribe because she fell in love with an outsider. Because both of them had a rough fate, they soon became a family. Penniless and without skills to earn money, they had no choice but to try new methods. Holga gave the necklace she received to Ejin's daughter, Kira. Thus, Kira joined Ejin's thieving crew, alongside the wizard Simon and the pseudo-gentleman Forge. Though they were robbers, they had principles, they never harmed others, and only targeted the wealthy. One day, they met a mage named Safina, who asked for their help in stealing Colin's treasure. It happened to be the base of the Harpist League, with the vault filled with loot confiscated from criminals. Ejin refused at first, but Forge told him that there was a resurrection stone tablet there that could revive his wife. So they came to the base of the Harpist League. However, when he took the resurrection stone, the threads attached to the stone triggered the anti-theft mechanism. In the crisis, Safina released a time imprisonment spell to shield everyone from the attack. As the power expanded, teammate Holga failed to escape in time and was trapped within. Having no other choice, Ejin had to retreat, but he, too, was ensnared in the time-bound confinement due to an unexpected incident. After listening to his story, Anderton decided to grant him clemency. At this moment, a birdman named Jonathan suddenly walked in, and Ejin hurriedly hugged Jonathan warmly. As it turned out, the two had long planned an escape, waiting for Jonathan's arrival.
But we approved your pardon!
Fly, bird, fly!
Holga confirmed that Jonathan was still breathing and then hurriedly fled with Ejin. Upon returning home, they discovered that Kira was no longer there. Subsequently, the two arrived at a tavern, where Edgin inadvertently came across a newspaper article stating that Forge had become the Lord of Neverwinter. Immediately, they rushed to Neverwinter to find Forge and retrieve the Resurrection Stone and Kira. While waiting for Forge, they encountered Kira, who recounted her past 2 years to them. At that moment, Forge appeared. Edgin inquired about how Forge became the Lord of the city, to which Forge mentioned that the previous Lord had fallen ill, providing him with the opportunity to run for the position. Additionally, not returning the stolen treasure greatly aided his candidacy. He even acknowledged Safina as the person who helped him the most. Edgin declared they just wanted the Resurrection Stone and then to leave. Upon hearing this, Kira displayed a pained expression, feeling that Edgin was only focused on the treasure and did not care about her. Edgin tells Kira that he wants to use the Resurrection Stone to revive her mother. However, Kira did not believe him, and Forge also said that Edgin was lying to Kira. He even told Edgin that he would not return the things to them, nor would he let Kira leave with them. They didn't expect that Forge and Safina would team up to betray them. The two men realized they were deceived and were about to step forward when they were trapped by Safina's spell. It turned out that Forge had planned to eliminate Edgin and Simon long ago, but Simon had managed to flee. Thus, Forge instructed Blackwood to capture them and claim the bounty, intending to bring them back to prison. Despite being the Lord of Neverwinter in name, he was merely a puppet of Safina. Therefore, Safina immediately ordered their secret execution. However, when Blackwood was about to kill them, Holga intentionally asked him questions to delay the process. Holga, with her incredible strength, single-handedly subdued all the guards. Subsequently, the two promptly escaped the castle. On the way, Edgin planned to return to the castle and tell Kira the truth in person. However, Holga expressed that it was too risky for them, considering the tight security of Neverwinter. Realizing they needed a team but lacked the funds to hire help, they decided to go back to the tribe to seek out the wizard Simon in order to defeat Safina and Forge. When they found Simon, he was using magic to steal everyone's belongings. The appearance of Edgin and Holga disrupted his plan.
He's nicking our bits and bobs!
Simon informed them that after they left the vault, Forge had stood by idly when Safina wanted to kill him. Moreover, the illness of the Lord was also caused by Safina. Simon admitted he was not a match for Safina and that the castle's defenses were extremely tight. Edgin mentioned that with the help of druids, the task could be easier, as they could transform into any animal. At this point, Simon told Edgin about a druid he knew, Doric. However, when they arrived at Druid's village, they found that the soldiers were about to execute a woman.
No, that's not Doric. That's What is that again? Owlbear.
She is a druid girl who can transform into any animal form. After successfully rescuing her people, she rode off into the forest on horseback. Once they found the druid girl, Edgin expressed his hope that she could assist in defeating the Lord of Neverwinter and the wizard Safina. Doric had been adopted by the Wood Elves and grew up in the forest. Since Forge became the Lord, he had been expanding his territory and encroaching on their homeland. Therefore, defeating Forge also became Doric's goal. Together, they decided to have Doric sneak into the castle to gather information about their adversaries.
A wild shape is among us.
The guards in front of her launched a siege on her one after another. She jumped onto the small window and jumped out without hesitation. While dodging arrows in midair, she hit a flag and fell into a house. However, she met Safina on the road, so she kept changing her form. Eventually, she turned into a deer and escaped at the last moment when the gate closed. Upon returning, Doric shared the intelligence she gathered with the group. The resurrection stone was hidden in the vault, sealed with powerful magic by Safina. Simon disclosed that his ancestors once possessed a magical helmet. If they could find it, he believed they could confront Safina and unlock the vault doors. Holga mentioned that the ancestors who knew the whereabouts of the helmet had fallen in battle, while Simon expressed his ability to use magic to have the deceased answer questions. On their journey to find clues about the helmet, they arrived at Marleman's home. Marleman was Holga's former husband, and she could tell that he was now living happily.
Does she make you happy? Happier than I did?
Well, I'll put it this way. She makes her living honestly. She doesn't drink herself silly. And she doesn't make me weep in the small hours, wondering where she is.
I was in pain. I was banished from my damn tribe to be with you.
And I tried to build us a home so you could forget that. But you never could.
Subsequently, they reached the graveyard, but the treasure they sought was not inside the coffins. It was hidden within the memories of the skeletal remains. After being resurrected, the skeleton can only answer 5 questions, and after asking them, it will never be resurrected again.
Perlamon Tergatis.
Were you killed in the Battle of the Evermores?
Yes.
4 more questions, right?
Yes.
Why did you say okay at the end of that?
I didn't.
During the battle, did you see the Helmet of Disjunction?
It was in possession of my chief, Stanhard Grimwolf. Take this and run! Keep it from Raykor at all costs! Understood, sir, don't worry! That's the last thing I remember.
Well, you can't just leave him like that. Look at the poor bloke.
Do you like cats?
Not really.
What's your favorite food?
Oats. No, barley.
What's 2 + 2?
I'm bad at math.
I commanded my battle lord to deliver the helmet to our swiftest rider, Ben Salafin.
We can just make it over the ridge.
It was the morning of the battle. As I stepped out my bath, my foot slipped on the stone.
And then you went into the battle?
No, I died.
After relentless searching, they finally located the last skeleton guarding the helmet. In the man's memories, he had suffered severe injuries on the battlefield. As he neared death, a man approached him, exhibiting great kindness and tenderness, causing him to lower his guard. In his final moments, he entrusted the helmet to the man. The man turned out to be Tori, hailing from the same place as the Scarlet-Robed Wizard. However, the companions all had heard of the Paladin Zenk and unanimously believed him to be a good person. Doric happened to know the whereabouts of this holy knight, leading them to the village where he resided. They coincidentally encountered Zenk rescuing a kitten from the jaws of a large fish. After Zenk left, they approached him and explained their purpose, seeking the lost cracking helmet. Their intention was to use the power of the helmet to open the vault's doors and defeat Forge and the Scarlet-Robed Wizard. Upon hearing this, the Holy Knight escorted them to the sacred land of the Harpist League. Zenk mentioned that if Forge and the Scarlet-Robed Wizard joined forces, their objectives would surely be complex. He recounted that over a century ago, the wizard Zastam was one of the 8 ruling mages in Tori. Blinded by power, Zastam orchestrated an evil coup while the residents were gathered to celebrate a festival. He unleashed the Death's Eye spell, which absorbed the souls of all who witnessed it, turning them into his puppets. With the help of other wizards, Zastam raised a formidable army of undead. Zenk stated that once their mission was successful, they would distribute all the treasure to the villagers. Subsequently, he led the group to the shadowy realm where the helmet was concealed, informing them that there were many entrances to this dark domain. After traversing along the cavern for a long time, they finally arrived at a gloomy underground city.
Rocknon. Intellect devourers, small but formidable. They stun their targets and consume the brain, taking control of the body. What do? Make no sound. They're drawn to mental energy. The higher the intelligence of the prey, the more likely they are to strike.
Well, that's a little hurtful.
As they approached a bridge, Zenk began to explain to the group how to cross it, but just as he was about to finish describing the crossing formula, the bridge collapsed.
I may have put my foot on the bridge. Didn't realize that's where it technically started. So, sorry.
Holga then prepared to tie a rope to an axe and throw it across to see if it could hold. At that moment, Simon noticed a staff, which Holga had stolen from a wizard. Simon mentioned it was a magical staff that could teleport over 500 meters. Once they obtained the magic helmet, a group of Tory assassins appeared. Apparently Zenk knew them, so they started attacking each other. After defeating the Tory assassins, as they were preparing to leave, the group suddenly revived. As they attempted to flee, a dragon appeared before them. In no time, they found themselves at a dead end. Edgen asked everyone to do as he said, and he asked Holga to anger the dragon. When the time was right, Edgen asked everyone to dive underwater, and then Simon used magic to light the fire on his fingertips. After escaping, Zenk also prepared to leave.
There he goes. Walks in such a straight line. Right over the rock.
Simon took the helmet and tried to activate its power. He put the helmet on his head.
There he is, the great Simon Omar. Sorcerer descended from wizarding blood. Funny thing about magic, it chooses who may wield it, and it does not suffer fools.
Despite numerous attempts, they were unsuccessful, leaving everyone disheartened. At that moment, Holga came up with a solution, suggesting they could use the magic staff for teleportation. They purchased an antique painting from a dealer and had Simon create a portal within the frame using the staff. Doric entered the carriage through the portal, aiming to deliver the framed painting to the vault. However, upon retrieving the frame, it slipped, but fortunately, Simon managed to catch it with his foot. With everything in place, Doric transformed into a bee and flew out of the window. At the same time in Neverwinter, the city lord stood on the high platform preparing for the opening ceremony, with the purpose of deceiving merchants to come and offer their treasures. Everyone pretended to be merchants and sneaked into the city. Simon opened the portal. When Edgen tore open the painting, he saw the ground instead. It turned out that the guard did not place the painting firmly and it fell to the ground. As the horn sounded, time was running out, forcing them to split up. Doric managed to create a gap in the painting to transform into a small insect and enter. Edgen's performance attracted the guards, but Simon had an accident at the critical moment.
My foot is stuck.
Concentrate.
Celebrate, lasses.
Braid.
The The guard turned around and found that it was Ejin and several others who were causing trouble. Quickly entering the city gates, they briefly held the guard back with lowered iron grills. As the soldiers rushed in, Holga instructed Simon to find the treasury while she stayed behind to confront the soldiers. Simon also came to the door of the vault. He quickly put on his helmet. In the moment when time stopped, he saw his ancestor. Simon begged him to help him, but the ancestor still thought he was not qualified. In defiance, Simon struck out with his fist, unexpectedly passing the test. Empowered by the helmet, Simon defeated the soldiers. And simultaneously, the doors to the treasury opened automatically. Doric, having transformed into a bug, also entered the framed painting. However, they realized something was amiss, as they were not in the same location. Ejin successfully found Kira and confessed his shortcomings as a father.
I am a bad father, and I did leave you. And I wasn't trying to bring your mom back, I was trying to bring my wife back. Which, if you got a chance to know her and love her like I did, you'd understand. But if you come with me now, you can have that chance.
To his surprise, Kira burst into laughter and transformed into Safina. Safina had foreseen their plan and trapped the group on the spot. Seeing Forge appearing in front of him, Ejin asked Forge to let them participate in the Burning Sun contest. The group found themselves in the labyrinth arena, where they needed to navigate the maze alive within the designated time to emerge victorious. As the bell tolled once more, the monsters were unleashed. Doric discovered a chest in the corner containing a sword. However, to their surprise, when Holga opened the chest, they were confronted by a monster. At a critical juncture, Holga was rescued by the timely arrival of Doric, and the two swiftly fled to another part of the maze. A dwarf encountered a monster, attacking it with his weapon, only to discover it was an illusion. While fleeing, a giant overtook them and surged into a transparent entity ahead. Meanwhile, Ejin sought an exit, but was blocked by a monster. Holga arrived in time to pull Ejin to safety. The four then arrived at the central zone, where other participants had already found sanctuary. When Ejin was about to open the door, he suddenly stopped. He thought that once he entered the iron cage, he would only wait for death. At that moment, Doric recalled the transparent entity seen earlier, speculating it could be an escape route. Several people quickly came to the outside of the maze, and when the bell rang, they rushed into the transparent cube. Simultaneously, monsters charged towards them. Doric turned into a small snake and crawled out of the small hole, and then she pulled them all out. Meanwhile, Forge was preparing to escape on a small boat filled with gold when he noticed the group waiting at the bow. Seeing this, Forge resorted to using Kira to threaten Ejin. Holga hurled potatoes at Forge, allowing Kira to seize the opportunity and flee. The group quickly boarded the boat, and Simon immediately conjured a massive wave to engulf Forge. At the same time, Safina revealed her true intentions. While all the merchants were still paying attention to the game, Safina took off into the air holding the dragon horn and kept chanting spells, releasing a large amount of blood mist. As the blood mist grew, the merchants became undead. To prevent this catastrophe, Ejin and the group decided to return and stop Safina. To save more people, Ejin came up with the idea of using a hot air balloon to scatter coins, leading the people out of the castle. Infuriated by this sight, Safina unleashed a fireball. At a crucial moment, Simon used magic to activate a shield, blocking the deadly blow. Doric transformed into an owl and approached Safina, then shifted into a massive night owl, pouncing and knocking her down. After Safina landed, she immediately used magic to resurrect the stone dragon in the square. Holga started to fight against the stone dragon, and the stone dragon, which was attacked by the spell, turned its target to Simon. Doric rushed in and pinned the stone dragon to the ground, leading to a fierce duel. Doric was struck back to his original form by the stone dragon, which then shifted its focus to Holga. During the battle, her battle axe was unfortunately knocked from her grasp. In a critical moment, Ejin rushed over and wedged the weapon into the stone dragon's mouth. Doric picked up a packet of chili powder, aiming a slingshot on his arm at Safina. After Safina was knocked down, the stone dragon lost control, instantly transforming into a stone statue, saving Ejin.
You know not the scope of my power!
Several people attacked Safina together, and their actions angered Safina. She chanted a spell, and a circle of light that could stop time quickly spread outwards. Everyone was trapped and unable to move. Safina walked towards Ejin, and her face gradually turned into a skeleton. However, under Safina's surprised gaze, Ejin was suddenly able to move. It turns out that Kira, who can become invisible, secretly put a magic binding bracelet on her. As Safina felt incredulous, Doric transformed into a night owl and swiftly swooped in, pinning Safina to the ground.
I think you got her.
Meanwhile, Holga had sustained severe injuries during the recent skirmish. Kira was filled with sorrow, and Ejin reminisced about their shared experiences. Unable to bear watching Holga perish, Ejin used the Resurrection Stone card on Holga. On the other side, Forge unexpectedly met Zinc in the woods. After Safina disappeared, her magic faded, and the Lord of Neverwinter awoke. He bestowed hero medals upon those who saved Neverwinter and pledged to protect the people of the Emerald Courtyard.
So, I know my last attempt to court you was quite bad, but I wonder if you'd consider having another go at it.
Yeah, all right.
Yeah?
Calm down.
Right.